What kind of yoga should you be practicing? This is one of the first questions I get asked from people who are interested in trying yoga to help resolve pain. And it can be confusing, right? Because there are a lot of different styles of yoga out there, and you're never sure where to begin. Unfortunately, there's not just one answer here. The kind of yoga that you should be practicing is going to depend on you, where you are in your recovery process, the circumstances you're going through, the kind of person you are. All of these things are going to have an impact on the kind of yoga that you should be practicing. So while there's not just a simple answer here, there is a simple tool that you can use to find out where to begin and maybe get an idea of what to try differently if what you're doing right now isn't working. So what kind of yoga should you practice? This is a simple tool you can use to give yourself an idea of where to begin or what you might try differently. We're going to start by taking all of the different kinds of yoga you could practice, and this is only going to work for the postural kinds of yoga classes. We're going to take all of the postural kinds of yoga classes and plot them on the flexibility or stability continuum. Classes that promote flexibility, these are classes that increase flexibility through long, deep stretches or range of motion exercises, we're going to plot over here on the right side. And classes that promote stability, we'll put over here on the left. Classes that include more strengthening exercises, balance exercises, holding poses for a long time, we'll put them here on the left side. Classes that increase stability. Once we've done that, we're also going to plot our classes according to the dynamic or static continuum. If they involve more movement, more activity, we'll put them up here at the top with the dynamic kinds of classes. And if they tend to be more static, holding poses for longer, being more passive, we'll put them down here at the bottom, the static end. So I should mention this is all somewhat subjective. What feels like it promotes flexibility for you might feel like more of a strengthening, stabilizing class for somebody else. What feels like a very dynamic movement, heavy practice for you might feel like a slower and more static practice for somebody else. So just bear in mind that this is all a somewhat subjective tool to use. But basically, we've taken all of the different kinds of yoga that you could practice, and broadly worked them into 4 general categories. We have the strength category. These are dynamic classes that promote stability. These might include your power yoga, your yoga boot camp style classes. Your Pilates class might be involved in this category as well. And on the other side, we have the mobility style classes. These are classes that promote a greater range of motion, greater flexibility, but still remaining active. So this might be your vinyasa classes. Any kind of class that involves a flow component will probably fit into this mobility section. There are also the balance kinds of classes, static classes that promote stability. This might be a traditional hatha style practice or a hot yoga style practice. Iyengar classes probably fit down here into the balance section as well. And then we have release classes. These are classes that promote flexibility, but do it through a static approach. So this would be your yin classes with long, deep stretches, holding them for a long time, restorative poses, holding poses for a long time, allowing the body to relax and recover and regain some flexibility. You'll probably put those here in the release section. So what kind of yoga should you be practicing? Well, yoga brings us back into balance, and what balance is going to mean for you is going to be different for somebody else. So wherever you are on this continuum, your goal is to try to get into the center. If you are a more flexibility oriented kind of person, if mobility comes very easy to you, you might focus on classes over here on the stability side, trying to build strength, trying to build balance. If you are a dynamic kind of person, you're already involved in a lot of activities and a lot of movement, maybe try classes that are more static. Try classes to hold poses longer. Try classes that work on releasing things. Whereas if you are a static kind of person, then try to get some more movement into your life. Practice things that increase range of motion. Practice things that build strength and are a little bit more dynamic. So that is a simple tool to use to begin thinking about how all of these classes work. At some point, you're probably going to want to try one of each. Just because you tend to hang out here on the flexibility side of the spectrum doesn't mean that you're never going to need to take a release class, or that you're never going to want to take a vinyasa class or a mobility related class. It's all going to depend on what you need at any given moment. So I hope that helps. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.